why 2024 was the year sellers became less loyal to Amazon. In 2024, rising fees and increased complexity prompted many Amazon sellers to explore alternative platforms like TikTok Shop, Walmart Marketplace, and Shopify. While Amazon remains dominant, these alternatives offer lower fees and better profit margins, making them attractive options for sellers seeking to diversify their sales channels. Sellers cite Amazon's control over their business and account suspensions as key concerns, pushing them to invest in platforms that provide more autonomy and flexibility. Although most sellers aren't abandoning Amazon entirely, they are strategically reallocating resources to reduce dependency and enhance profitability. And I definitely agree with that headline in most of this article.
Yeah.
I think 2024 was eye-opening for a lot of sellers, and 2025 is going to be the year that a lot of sellers at least launch in other marketplaces. It's going to be a long time, like it said, before anybody can replace Amazon, but diversifying, I think, is going to be a big thing this year.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts?
I want to hear from Eric first, since he's a titan when it comes to selling on Amazon. Puts me to shame for sure. So I want to know what he has to say.
Yes. I mean, absolutely. I agree with this article 100%. During COVID, we actually stopped selling on other marketplaces, turned off Walmart, turned off eBay, and went deep into Amazon because Amazon was so lucrative. And now, about 6 months ago, we turned Walmart back on. We're selling on TikTok. So it just makes sense. I mean, it's with the restrictions Amazon has implemented with their fee structures. I mean, now I think you have to be omni-market. You really have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm similar. I've done eBay and Walmart for a while, just using, third-party software that pushes your Amazon listings over to those platforms.
Yeah.
But this year, I'm definitely going to be diving into using Walmart fulfillment services more, especially with my best-selling products, to get them moving there faster. Maybe work a little bit with eBay and TikTok Shop and things like that. TikTok, depending on, of course, what happens here in the next couple of weeks with the potential ban.
We've had conversations about that. I really don't think that's going through.
The bans, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's kind of up to the Supreme Court right now. They've got a rule on it. Most likely they'll rule on it here. I'm going to guess this next week. We'll know one way or another, and then it'll kind of be up to the legislature, I guess, from there, if they decide to change anything. But they don't come back into session until the 20th, which is the day after the ban is supposed to go in effect. So
how strategic.
And really, Amazon, they just show that how much they own us as sellers. I mean, and brand owners. Because even TikTok, Walmart, I mean, it's 10% of the sales, right? I mean, Walmart, the same SKUs I got doing 3,000 units a month on Amazon sell 300 units a month on Walmart. So it's like, it's just not comparative either.
Yeah. But if you were, and I'm actually working with a company that has not yet launched into the Amazon sector, who is, hooked up with, I think they said 70 different marketplaces, and they'll help you diversify into those marketplaces and manage all of your inventory and shipments and all of that. And I think that if Amazon sellers are going to diversify, then they need it to be as simple, stupid as possible, right? Because otherwise every marketplace is a complete, in quotations here, a completely new business. A long time ago, Eric, you've been selling a long time now, right? 10 years?
11 years,
11 years. Okay, yeah. So do you remember the little, I'd call it a fad, almost a flash in the pan, where everyone had to have a Shopify site? And then so everyone out and they made a Shopify site, and the vast majority of the people just didn't make any sales because they didn't realize, I've got to market this.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta run ads.
And so, so you had this flash in the pan with Shopify, and it needs to be this. If people are going to diversify off of Amazon, they need a system where they can just make it as simple as possible to say, yes, I'd like to sell here. Yes, I'd like to sell here. Yes, I'd like to sell here. But they don't have to learn an entirely new system, do completely new shipping, everything, and fulfillment, everything.
Like
And
an
it needs to be, huh?
like an agency, you're saying.
Mhm.
More of a I mean, more of a SaaS. So like I'll just give you the name. These guys, I don't know if they're ready to come to market, but it's called GB Commerce. It's brand new, and basically you can manage everything from all your inventory, your fulfillment, your shipping, and all of your marketplaces from one spot. Eric, if you want an intro, I'd love to get your feedback.
Yeah.
I'll do an intro for you, but I think that sellers are going to need that or something like that, where it's a seamless process and you get some hand holding, right?
Well, you know, there's lots of software out there, multi-channel software that push your Amazon listings over to these other platforms or vice versa, depending on what your main platform is. But the problem with all of them is that if you have a large catalog, it can be very difficult
Yes.
because they don't seamlessly match up like the categories and
Right.
filling all in the different fields that, you know, Walmart requires these, maybe Amazon doesn't, so that might not have the information. And, you know, my catalog with, you know, 1,500 SKUs that I've got going through there, you push them all over to eBay, and, you know, 2/3 of them have some kind of error that then you got to go through one by one and try to figure out how to fix it, add whatever details, select the correct category.
Yeah. Again, another reason why it needs to be as simple as a push button.
Yeah. If somebody can figure that out, that would be amazing. One of the problems, though, like with Walmart, is that they don't let you fulfill using FBA. And of course, most people are using that as their fulfillment channel. And so that was one of the problems that I had. We were doing, you know, okay on Amazon, a few thousand a week, but, you know, so nothing huge. But Amazon, or they started giving us alerts that we had invalid tracking numbers, even though we were doing, you know, block Amazon logistics, blank box only. USPS puts a note in the tracking that it was originated from Amazon. And so they were flagging those as being invalid tracking numbers. And so we had to stop doing that completely. And that's why we're going to be using WFS instead for some of our bigger selling products.
What
do you guys use,
Eric?
Eric, any specific software?
No, I used Listing Mirror for some years. I forget the name of the one we use to create all our listings on TikTok. I forget, but it's the same software that we use to fulfill the orders from Amazon as well.
Yeah.
Like to make the connection. We don't do any of the fulfillment from TikTok, and then Walmart, we do all WFS. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But like I
Walmart's
said,
pushing hard for that.
yeah, Walmart's pushing hard, but it's 10%. I mean, if that, 10% of sales. And our strategy really is we're only taking our brand directs to TikTok and our own private labels to TikTok and Walmart, because I don't want to be put in the same situation where 6 to 12 months or Walmart and TikTok start getting real restrictive of like being brand owners. And so I'm not taking general wholesale inventory over those marketplaces.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That makes sense for sure. Focus. I mean, you might as well focus on your big ones anyways, because like you said, 10% is about most you can expect from these platforms if you're doing really good. Maybe 20 or 30% if you've got a product fit that's perfect for Walmart or TikTok and you go viral or something like that. With all the talk, you know, everybody's talking about TikTok Shop. That's kind of the big one. And it feels like TikTok could be a challenger to Amazon at some point just because of the social shopping aspect. But I feel like the more popular it gets and the more companies that are on there, it's going to get harder and harder and harder, to get that social traffic to your
Yeah.
product on that platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we've got a few comments here that we just want to go through. So Fought Gift asks how to find Amazon wholesale. You can reach out to really any of us, I think, on LinkedIn, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction. And then Malik says,
I've got several videos on that. So if you go to amazonseller.school,
perfect. Yep.
you can look at the videos there, or just search on YouTube. You'll find it as well. Eric, I think you've got a bunch of videos on that as well.
Yeah, for free. Yeah, on YouTube, same thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So just
then-
search on YouTube for Amazon Lit or Amazon Seller School, and you'll find our, wholesale sourcing videos is usually what you can search for.
Yeah. And Malik asks, do we have any advice on getting ungated? So that's outside of the scope of what I do, because I don't really do wholesale like these other two guys. So they'll know better.
Yeah. Getting ungated. I mean, Eric, you want to jump on that one?
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward process. In order to gate, Amazon will prompt the information that they require to get ungated, and typically it's an invoice with 10 units or more with the required information. So it needs to have, typically a UPC, the quantity that you've purchased, the supplier that you purchased it from, a website, a contact information, and they break down everything that the invoice needs to include. But I always encourage for listing eligibility, go through the process, right? Always click request approval, and then it will literally tell you what's required to submit to be ungated.
Oh,
Yep.
sweet. Nice little tip
just
there.
make sure that you're buying from a legitimate supplier.
Yeah.
We've talked recently about people buying stolen goods and stuff on WhatsApp and Telegram, and if it's super easy to open up an account, then you might want to be careful. And if they're telling you the ASINs and everything that the products belong to, probably not a legitimate distributor or brand that you're working with. Could be, but probably not. In my experience, none of the distributors and suppliers that I work with are like, here's the ASIN of the product and this is how many sales it's getting and all that stuff. Those guys are typically either
offloading stuff fast.
Yeah, selling clearance products, or it could be someone selling stolen products or something like that.
So that actually brings a question up: is where can somebody find, or is there a list of legitimate companies that you can buy from? I'm sure there must be one, but I've never run across one. I've never really looked, but is it out there? Like, do you just go to, what is it, thomas.net or something like that to find these people, or what?
Well, so unfortunately, Dayton, Amazon doesn't provide their list of.
Well, of course not.
So it's not like available data, and no, there's not like a consolidated list of, approved Amazon vendors anywhere. I mean, people will try to sell you those lists, but then the thing you have to ask yourself is, all right, how many other people bought this list, and are these suppliers actually really good at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's lists out there, but like Eric said, the legitimacy of those lists, number one, and then number two, if tons of people start using these same suppliers to get ungated, that could change the way Amazon looks at them. But the list is basically your search engine, Google,
Google,
or whatever one you use. Just search for distributors, skiing products or something like that, and you'll find ones. If you look up my wholesale reverse sourcing video, it walks you through, exactly how to find those distributors and everything on Google and everywhere else. So no, there's no list, but if there was a list, and there are lists, I should say, but it doesn't mean they're any good. And you may not want to use the companies that are on the list necessarily, because number one, they're probably not going to be profitable. And number two, they may not always be able to be used for Amazon if too many people are using them.
Yeah.
Yep. Fair enough.
Let's see. Malik says here, there's no comparison with Amazon. You don't have to create or run advertisements. Amazon is the best platform ever existed. Can't necessarily debate that too much. You could maybe argue with that you don't have to run advertisements. You do if you want to be a successful brand. Most resellers don't, because most resellers don't necessarily care about the brand. They're just trying to flip products. But if you're doing brand partnerships or trying to build a brand or help a brand, then you're going to be running ads.